Hello, 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 everyone. Thank you for joining. Just chilling out on the tower for a sec, trying to make sure that we had some music playing, but I know it's quite quiet.
Guardian.
How's your day been? A little bit hectic today, but not too bad, not too bad. Busier than expected, but
Deal.
now we're here to get to just chill out and play some Destiny, so it's all good.
I can fix this.
Just making sure we get some bounties, and I did acquire something very fun. When I was just doing some more like looting and scooting the other day of just like getting this Arc Conductor Ergo Sum, where it's like you use a heavy attack to basically get the Risk Runner perk for like 5 seconds, where you just chain lightning things around you. Which, yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. Just use your heavy attack on the sword, and then anything approaching you gets chain lightning for 5 seconds. So I've gone for, at the moment, I've gone for a we don't need guns build of like, the sidearm is here. The sidearm is admittedly there, just in case, but we've got one sword to cause destabilizing rounds and go invis on kill. We've got the Ergo Sum to use chain lightning around us for fun. And then we just got, you know, the punchy punch build going on still with Lies Handshake. So, in theory, we don't actually need to do anything other than just sword and punch. Like, who said that we needed guns? We may occasionally need a pistol. Other than that. Blasting through Mass Effect 1, how are you finding it? Is this a first time through Mass Effect 1 or just like replaying through? I remember mentions of Mass Effect, but it's hard to like remember what's been said because obviously we're still like doing our playthrough of Mass Effect at the same time, so like there's a lot of Mass Effect going on in my brain lately. This bit of hair just wants to just do what it wants, eh? What are we doing here? What are we doing? Oh, what the what are we doing here? Like, come on. Go with the rest of it. Failsafe. Oh, replay the trilogy every day. Yeah, definitely not. Definitely not the case of the first time playthrough. That already got so many failsafe without basic. I guess maybe we'll just kick off by doing one of the failsafe activities. Yeah, I did it one time, so I'm trying currently to just get to a more reasonable power level. So I'm just kind of going through and getting like my powerfuls and pinnacles, and I'm not very strategic about how I do it personally. I don't itch. But I'm just kind of like a I did the legendary campaign, probably pulled some exotics before I should have done because I didn't finish and get the rewards before I start pulling a couple of powerfuls and stuff. I'm just like, whatever, just I'll get to cap eventually. Renegade Sentinel Femshep all day. Yeah, pretty much always play some version of Renegade Shep, and like even on stream where it's been like, oh hey, you know, we're doing like full Renegade Shepherd, that quickly became like, yeah, but you know, be Paragon at times and play it a bit loose, and like chat are deciding, you know, which way we go. So sometimes chat don't want to do things, sometimes I give chat a little nudge of like, you know, when I accidentally got Rex killed because I forgot which was the Paragon and Renegade options. But it is very hard to do full Renegade Shep when it's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go on a racist rant about humanity are the best, and you're like, oh, Shepard. Yeah, that's usually the type of build I find most people prefer Renegade Shepard to go. Is like nice to your crew and not completely racist, but like doesn't take shit from people and a bit of a badass, yeah. But when like humanity are like the superior race lines come out, you're like, oh, Shepard. Like, I did not, no, this is not where I thought we were going.
Show me what that one does.
Yes. Exactly. Doing. Yeah, just like... Oh yeah, I got the Vortex frame on it now. I'm usually, I was testing out what it's like with the Arc Conductor when Jenna got a drop of it. And she got the one where you do like the uppercut attack. So I was expecting my sword to do an uppercut attack on the heavy, but it doesn't. I've got it. I'm glad to hear that you're enjoying Final Shape so much, by the way, Red Hot. Glad that, like, me encouraging you to come and play some has been a good bit of influence and not bad.
Sending new coordinates.
It really does, like,
assessment, but the Vex
you know, obviously there's still been some server issues and been some glitches and absolutely fuck how much, like, it is just a complete enforcement of a two-player mission as the only way to get the exotic class item. Like, that I think is a bit bullshit. Like, I looked into it and it's not even something you can, like, attempt to do on your own on two controllers. Like, it did after stream look into, like, what the mission was and was like, no, I can't even attempt to pull this off. Like, there are times where you need to be telling each other, like, what to shoot, but then also timing your bow shooting it at the same time and stuff, and it's like, no, that ain't happening. So, yeah, a bit disappointed. The only way to get the class exotic is via that. Like, I wouldn't mind it if that was the easiest way to get it or something, but the fact that solo players have no way to get it by themselves is very unfortunate. And, like, not everyone wants to find a random online to communicate with, right? Like, even if you can figure out over, like, a text chat, it's still not ideal. But yeah, other than that, biggest gripe there, like, that is my biggest gripe really with Final Shape. And really for, like, Final Shape, I was, you know, so worried that it wouldn't be able to pull it off, especially with, like, a lot of people being down after, like, the Lightfall expansion last year. And just the fact that, like, my biggest gripe is, well, one mission was mandatory co-op is, like, a lot better than I thought. It's very nice to just, like, actually have high expectations of an expansion or something new and them pretty much hitting those expectations. Yeah, Wallace and Gromit is one that, like, Carl and I often talk about, like, we've often mentioned, like, Doctor Who probably being one of Greatest Britain's exports and Mr. Bean, but we always seem to fail to mention Wallace and Gromit, and then I was, you know, obviously thinking about it before bringing it up on the podcast, and then talking about it on the podcast, and like, yeah, like, Wallace and Gromit is really up there in terms of, like, things that are just important to British culture in a positive way as well.
Never say I do nothing for you, Captain.
You know,
I am a bored helper.
there's a lot of things to know Britain for, and not many of them are great. But Wallace and Gromit is definitely one of those great things. I do enjoy the podcast. I do actually get the podcast version on the podcast because I had an audio problem. Literally, like, we finished live streaming and I clicked to, like, close my OBS, and I hadn't exported the WAV yet from, like, my Adobe Audition recording. And yeah, the OBS closing just, like, blue screen my PC, and then Adobe's like, we can try and recover your audio that you lost. I'm like, okay, click. Every time I click yes, Adobe crashes, and then my PC crashes. And every time I've tried to manually find the backup folder and open it, it still again just causes crashes, and I'm like,
Look what
cool, so I guess that means my audio is just fucking gone. Great. That's cool. It's nice to know that, like, the voice behind Wallace is also nice and friendly. I can't imagine the man behind that character not being anything but a nice person.
Temporal disturbance detected. And the Vex are jamming
the-
my transmount lock.
Like, absolute gutting feeling it would be to
Appears
meet
there's a
fucking
limit on how
Wallace.
much data we can
and then be
extract
an unfriendly
before Hyphen
person.
Security Force takes notice.
That would
Break their
suck.
hold.
Harvesting radiolaria incubator.
Oh, we go through a portal apparently. Oh.
If they cannot kill you, the Vex will try capturing you. Do not let them.
Yeah, that was
It is
definitely a podcast for you.
unpleasant. Harvesting radiolaria incubator.
Yeah, it's one of those of been like telling Carl for a while, just like, you know, get back into anime. Not that Carl doesn't like it, just he only does like one subscription at a time, and I keep being like, get Crunchyroll back, and it's like finally been able to talk to him about like Attack on Titan now that he's catching up, and then soon I think he's going to be watching, or I think he might be caught up with My Hero as well. We can talk about that, and then hopefully he'll get on One Piece. Believing him to it. Like, don't want to be that. I don't want to be the pushy One Piece bro. Oh, you've got a full extraction here to do that. The learning of anime. Yeah, like, I know generally speaking, anime fans have a tendency to, you know, get very passionate and tell people to watch, you know, whatever their favorite anime is a lot of fun. I especially hear that about, like, people, you know, having their friends moan about catching up to One Piece, and the one thing that I never ever understand about when talking to people about, like, oh, you know, recommending One Piece and saying how good it is. Well, yeah, but, you know, it's gonna take me 50 days to watch it all, like, non-stop in hours, and it's like, it's not homework. Like, if you don't enjoy it, you can stop, and if you do enjoy it, that means there's a lot of it to watch for you. Like, it's the point isn't to get to the end, it's to enjoy watching it. They do also, just generally, anime fans do, yes, have a bad rep for defending a lot of what, you know, they like to call fan service, shit like that, and it's like, no. Like, One Piece is a good example of just, I constantly complain about the fact that, like, I argue Nico, Robin, and Nabi have actively gotten worse looking because they went from, like, relatively regularly stacked women to, like, obscenely stacked women with just wild proportions. And, like, I remember speaking about this as well, and some comments saying, literally defending it, saying, well, some women in the world can have that proportions. It's like, that wasn't my... I wasn't saying that, like, no woman ever has had big breasts and small waists. It's like, all of a sudden that becomes the instant defense for it. It's like, no, they took two characters with relatively realistic looking proportions and made them a lot less realistic looking over time, or a lot more exaggerated looking over time, maybe, is the right word. If people want to get me that, like, oh, well, technically it's realistic because You know, it's like, fuck off that. You know that's not the point I'm trying to make.
I am pleased to assist,
But yeah,
Captain.
it's you know, it's one of those as well of like you literally see it where some mangas have changed for the better, where like some mangas / animes, of course, like doubling them both up whenever I see them. Like, look at My Hero Academia and the fan feedback
Guardian
on
secured.
Mineta, is it? The one that no one
Fail
likes.
safe. I'll look forward to your analysis.
Because all it
I'll
was
try,
him just
but the Vex
constantly
never made
fucking
sense, and now they're acting
attempting
weirder
to
than ever.
sleaze on his
I don't know if it's
classmates,
possible
the
to
one with
understand
like the great pair.
Don't say that to
And it's
Osiris.
actively
You
over
might
the
wound
years
his
they've
scholarly
made
pride.
him
What if
better
I want to
and
wound his pride?
tried to downplay that
Then I
side of his
only ask
character
that you
because they
record his
realise like,
reaction.
oh yeah, maybe that's just a shitty trope that our fans have not enjoyed. Really did pour on the kills there. Right, yeah. I mean, that's the thing, like, you know, I don't, even Ross, good time for you to jump in, like, yeah, just, why aren't women off fucking pants is like, ugh, it's so annoying, and it's just one of those things that for me, I'm like, okay, it's there, I don't enjoy that aspect, but I enjoy a lot of it. It was one of those arcs for Sanji, great. A character where, again, I thought they were maybe trying to lean into it less. Clearly not. But, yeah, just like the constant things of like men being creeps on women and women having no clothing, stuff like that. It's like, I push through it because I enjoy what else is there, but the fact that there's people who sit there and actively like defend it and get mad when it's perceived as being taken away. And the campaign cooperative folks, like, I don't know what that is other than it is like these missions down here at some point. Yeah, you can pick it on cooperative focus campaign, which I guess just means you have to have other people in there, but it, yeah, requires a fire team. But it's like, that's like 5 power level. I mean, I think like talking about Marin from Dragon Ball, like that's one example where I haven't actually like watched it in a long time because it's part of the filler. But I think the point of that character was meant to be taking the piss out of that trope. Not that Dragon Ball's ever gotten away with it, but like I think that it was more like, hey, like, Krillin's got, like, the stereotype anime girl as a girlfriend, and then, like, you know, she's basically, you know, he treats her like a bimbo and she fucks him off. But I can't remember. I mean, the last time I've heard about that character was, like, watching whatever part of she was in Dragon Ball fucking abridged, so it's been a long time where I've seen, like, the canon version. I'm probably mixing them up a little bit in my head. I mean, I think, like, to me, the obvious answer would, like, what are the 4 pillars of anime? Like, I think it gets very different because, like, you could talk about Studio Ghibli, you could talk about shorter animes that are influential, like Cowboy Bebop, and Fist of the North Star, which is a bit, like, older. or like Akira, which is like a movie. But I think like generally the easy answer is probably just like, well, Dragon Ball's kind of seen as like the grandfather of popular anime, right? And then just like the big three, which were like One Piece, Naruto, Bleach. But that's more like, I think, what are the big, massive, long-running, foundational, like, influential animes that spanned a long time. But, like, I think there's loads of animes that I've not watched or that I'm not talking about that, like, again, I think, like, for example, Cowboy Bebop probably had way more influence than any of those, considering how short it was. But again, it was, what, like, less than 30 episodes or something? I can't remember exactly how long it is, but I watched it a lot long ago, and it's not a big anime, but it had a lot of fucking influence. Same with, like, Akira, of, like, as far as I'm aware, Akira's just a movie, right? It's not got, like, it's not like a spin-off movie from a long-standing franchise or anything, from what I'm aware. So I think in terms of, same with Ghibli movies, like, those things are more influential considering how small they are. But if you're going to use the terminology of, like, pillars, then I guess, like, you know, the big, massive things that, like, the popularity of the medium and a lot of the influencers, like, strive from is, you know, obviously, I think Dragon Ball's the first one, but then I think the easy answer, again, is just, yeah, the other, like, the big three, and I'm not... People always get mad about that, of, like, each doesn't even matter anymore. It's like, no, that was just the terminology used for those three at the time, because they were the big three at one point, and that was the nickname given to those three as a group. It's not claiming that they are still the biggest three animes. One Piece, the other two. Not as much nowadays. Like, I definitely see a lot more conversation around My Hero, for example, than I do Naruto or Bleach. Very, very complicated. One that could be, like, I'm sure you could argue 20 different things to be, like, you know, the most foundational pieces of anime or manga. And obviously, the ones that I mentioned, like, well, they're all, like, shonen animes, right? But at the same time, like, that's what's mostly popular. Yeah, it's kind of like, it's so mental to think about, yeah, the difference of managing to find a person in school that also liked an anime. Was like, I literally had a person who, my entire friendship with this person was literally just discussing Dragon Ball. And it's not like we weren't friends, but the only thing we ever really spoke about was Dragon Ball. Basically, the entire friendship was just, here's the other person I've known in school that knows Dragon Ball. And nowadays you think, like, oh, well, yeah, just, it's not unpopular to watch anime. It's, like, so much more widely available, widely heard of. Go and get that third. Got excited seeing a exotic quest on my map, and then like, oh, that's the mandatory co-op one. I mean, yeah, I didn't necessarily get bullied for liking that stuff, but I did, certainly didn't make many friends because of it, and I was already getting bullied for being, like, small ginger kid with glasses. There was enough going on for me without my geeky interests. Like, I was already getting bullied anyway. They didn't need more ammunition. But it's like, I definitely remember more high school, like, not really talking about those things. Like, it got to... There was those few dark years of, like, Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! Being really popular for the first year or two of my high school, and then the last few years, I had to have, like, the small group that all went and, like, talked quietly on the edge of the field about it, and we didn't tell anyone else that we still played Pokemon, because, like, yeah, then we'd get bullied for it and shit. But I'm never going to be one of those people that's like, oh, but that means I'm angry that it's allowed to be popular now. Or just maybe be glad that it is popular, and therefore everyone gets to enjoy these, and you also get more of it. God, yeah. Yeah, I'm not really talking much about Pokemon anime-wise. I'm more just talking the video games of Pokemon. Like, I liked Pokemon anime as a kid, but I think by the time, like, Gen 3 was out, so, like, 2001, I don't think I really watched much of the Gen 3 anime. Like, literally just when I was, like, 10 years old or younger that I was ever watching Pokemon, really, for a couple of years. I think I probably pretty much fell off after the second movie. In terms of viewing Pokemon, I only really played Pokemon after that point. You know, hey ho, I'm still like streaming Pokemon normally on Thursdays every single week of my life, and I still have never gotten out of playing the games. If anything, I've doubled and tripled down on playing them. But you know, this week something important happened in Destiny game. I have just realised that I have like 0 darkness thoughts of damage going on. Apart from a super. Yeah, this is what happens when you try and punch a torment. It doesn't go well. Get the res. That's fair, yeah. I do think that there's been a weird, like, this weird mixture of feelings when it comes to the Switch generation of Pokemon games. Like, I think they've done so much good in terms of quality of life and the direction that they've taken, like, the actual plot progression and stuff of, like, trying to make it more open world based and things, but then there's just other things that, like, I don't like as much, like, you know, the graphic style and the performance and the bugs. It's like very hard to argue that it's gotten better. I'd say, like if I was to actually give the last 2 gens of Pokemon like a review based on everything, it'd be like, oh yeah, these are probably worse than they were 10 years ago, but in terms of the type of way I play the game and like some of the cool new Pokemon that they've introduced and stuff, I still wouldn't critique it that bad. Yeah, like the sprite work always looked way better to me than the 3D model. And just like, I think because the sprites are just like you know, squashed and stretched and stuff in Gen 4 and 5. It's more like... it's more implied animations, as we talk about in that playthrough, that rather than necessarily, like, you know, you use your imagination to imagine what these sprites are like. Whereas when it is 3D models just A-posing completely still, it's like, oh, this really not great. And it stands out a lot more. I also, just fucking Christ, I've just kind of realized that I'm relying on my radar a lot in this room, and like, genuinely, it is probably not just your stream. I cannot see shit in this room. For anyone wondering, watching, like, oh hey, is it just dark on stream? It's, no, it's just dark. Like, just each of them, like, those few frames where each of them come out and they do one little fun thing. A little, yeah, little implication of movement. It's, you know, it's implication of the anime. Again, a couple of frames of it. Depress me the moment I activate Prism. What did I get? To admit, double sword is a bad idea for this specific encounter. But in my defense, I just spawned into this boss room and didn't know that this was going to be happening. Oh. Hey Shadow, welcome to just the darkness. Oh, there we go, I can see again.
Guardian secured.
Oh, you beat second.
Congratulations,
Beat Virgil the
Fire
second
Team.
time,
Your
right,
data
okay.
is secured.
I wasn't sure whether that was like,
This
you
is
beat the
code.
second Virgil encounter for a second.
It's presenting differently
Can't
than
remember how
previous
many
Vex
times it did
structures
by
I've
Virgil.
analyzed. Huh. Curious.
Oh yeah, that's all messed up. Is it? A virus? Should I purge it? Let me purge it. I want to purge some
Okay.
Vex.
Calm down. It almost seems
Virgil
so, but
is-
no, I believe this is a form of adaptation.
Virgil's very cool, but it's a fucking
But
bitch.
what spurred it?
Maybe the data we just got will tell us.
Better than 0 health, right? Count fun. Anyway. Feel a bit better this time about being so low kills wise, because the other one I was there like the entire activity. This time I just got pulled in at the boss room. I'm just having fun with double swords. If it was like high-end activities, I'm bringing some. Like, why not bring 2 swords out? Missions for DMC 3 mission. $20. You know, that might be more than like. Okay, so DMZ 1 at 23. I was gonna say more than any other, but that definitely feels like it's way more than 4. I feel like 4 maybe has like a dozen missions. But then it's hard to know with 4 because you basically go through the game as Nero and then go back on yourself as Dante through the same levels. Too many. I know like a lot of the missions in Devil May Cry games are quite short, but God, it's a lot more game than I remembered. In my head, they're always like 8-10 hour games. 4 and 5 both have 20. $23 hours. Yeah, in my head. I guess the same happened with Bayonetta in my head, like thinking that there would only be a couple of streams long, and like, oh no, there's actually quite a lot of game in these games. I don't need the melee recharges faster, but the deals increased damage on a melee build? Yeah, I'll take that. Still, like, 14 hours of playtime in, like, an action game on the PS2 is a lot, and maybe add, like, you know, a couple more hours onto that for the last few missions you've got to do. Like, putting a game of, you know, 15 to 20 hours for a PS2, like, single-player game is pretty decent. Like, obviously there was much longer games, like JRPGs, and specifically where it's, like, you know, bombastic character action games and stuff, they generally are a lot shorter. They're not reliant quite as heavily on, like, you know, grinding out and wasting your time and stuff. Yep. That would be a hell of a stream. Although, like, you know, saying that, I'm sure playing through Metal Gear Rising Revengeance, he probably, like, gets through Metal Gear Rising 3 times quicker than I would, right? So where it probably only takes him a few hours now. No, I need to sneak. Oh. Oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, I would argue that with Red Dead 2 specifically, like, that game, in my eyes, I'm not the biggest fan of Red Dead 2 because I do not think it respects your time as a gamer at all. The fact that, like, every single action you do, have to watch the action fully play out, not the type of game for me. I prefer the type of thing where you can, like, run into a room, spam the pickup button while you're sprinting in a circle, and everything just, like, auto picks up really quickly. Why the fuck is this not loading? There we go. Or just games having auto pickup. One of those things, like, they're standing there and opening up every single drawer manually and picking up every single thing and inspecting it before pressing pick up and doing all that jazz. Like, nah, watching you, like, every time you, like, loot a body or skin an animal, like, whatever it is, you know, every single time watching all those animations play out. Last of Us, I think, patched in a thing where you could like hold a button and get like things picked up around you, kind of thing, like things that were close, but you still definitely have to like mash, and you see like Joel or Ellie like going like that and grabbing at different things, and it quickly picks them up. Like, it's a bit of a middle ground when it comes to Last of Us specifically. Like, I played, sorry, because technically it's replaying because it's a new version of it. But I played Last of Us Part 1 when that dropped, and there was still, even in like the PS5 version of like the Part 1 version, you still have Joel going like that and grabbing at items roughly. But again, it's not that you don't pick up and inspect each item and click pick up, it's just a quick like arm going back and forth as you quick picking up items. Same with Last of Us 2 actually, yes, because I played the roguelite mode when that came out last December, I would say. That can't have been a year and a half ago. That must have been like 6 months, right?
Try it and see.
There are definitely differences, but there are some slight gameplay tweaks and stuff to make the game play a little bit better. It's one of those where it looks way nicer. Technical performance is way better. And I'm sure if you sat down and watched a video of here's the gameplay differences between Last of Us 1 and Last of Us Part 1 on PS5, they would probably be like, oh, and this has changed, and like I think they added like going prone as a thing. I think they added from number 2. I might be wrong. But the way that it played was how I remembered The Last of Us 1 playing, which probably means they've tweaked things and made things a little bit better. But it wasn't like there were massive new gameplay changes that were super different. It was mostly just making it, like, you know, run a lot better and look and all that. No, I've not watched the TV show. I've, like, got it on the list, but it's one of those things of it's just been one that, like, I'll get round to that. Not really pressing in my eyes because, yeah, I've experienced investigate. Okay, we can go. Yeah, it's just one of that classic thing of like, I know that they've added elements and characters and story beats and expanded bits like the episode with Bill. But generally speaking, because I know the story of The Last of Us, I'm like, yeah, cool, I'll get around to it. It's not like I'm gonna get spoiled on it or anything. Oh my god, that little fat oryx. I always get, like, so defensive about it when I still see gifs of, like, fat oryx. Like, he's very skinny now. See a picture of him. Hopefully, phone can. You know. That's a little gif of them not long ago of Cade Oryx. I'm just like, look how skinny he is. He can't keep the fucking weight off him. On him, like, can't. He's skinnier than Cade is. Look at the difference. I'm just like, whenever the fat ones pop up, I'm like, we didn't let him stay like that. We just rescued him fat, okay? Pencil. Bless him. Like, he's so skinny. Every time we meet anyone, they're just like, holy fuck, like, where's Oryx gone? Who feed it? Honest. Like, multiple times we have upped the amount of food. And he continues to just react by being even more active during the day the more we've eaten. Again, I just think it's a clever plot to, like, just keep getting more and more food out of us. Like he eats the same amount of, like, meal food as Cade. We upped both of their portions a little bit not long ago, and we give him, like, extra treats and shit. He's still just like, no, you know what? No, I'm gonna keep just becoming skeleton like Oryx now. Makes me question, like, how much food does that boy have him beforehand to get so fat? If weight drops off him that easily. Oh yeah, exactly right. Like, if he got that fat, and it's that hard to keep weight on him, like, how much fucking food was he digesting earlier? At the rescue and shit. He must have been like the fucking mafia don over there, like, all the other dogs coming to him, like, fucking paying out food to him just to protect them or something, or payment. Fucking ran that place. The Dogfather, indeed. It's what that movie, The Wallace, was, the Gromit Watchers was. I mean, he gets 2 meals, one in the day and one in the evening, but then, you know, extra treats during the day, food on his walk and stuff like that. So, like, 2 proper meals. Going. Yeah, I think that's generally what most people do. Feed them, like, anyone that I've seems to do, like, morning meal, a meal. But, like, we've never had a problem really controlling Cade's weight. But yeah, it's a complete little was fatty is now not Oryx. Oh shit. Okay. Yeah. Look at beautiful. Anyone approaches and it's just 5 seconds of, like, no, for free. Like, oh shit. Oh. Like, as far as Moira as well, it doesn't No, sending out that arc lightning from it doesn't use up more ammo than your regular heavy attack does. You just get 5 seconds of like, get the fuck away. For just using your heavy ones. But yeah. Does enough damage to basically, without me doing anything, just wipe out everything around me. I assumed that like Huskies did a mixture of Howling and barking. The only real videos I've seen online of them are admittedly Howling, but I just thought that was like, you know, people filming the Howling because it's more funny. Disappear. On both. Presume you mean like mission 1 and 3, not like the entire games of like Devil May Cry 1 and 3. Failsafe in. Yeah, so each prismatic grenade, like each class gets a grenade from going transcendent, that's the word. I was about to say translucent because I've been watching The Boys. It's like, no. Transcendent. You each get a grenade, but the grenade Titans is suspend and arc. The one for Warlocks is stasis and void, and the one for void and then stasis maybe, I can't remember. And then the one for Hunters is stasis and solar. So it like shoots out a tornado that's stasis to begin with to slow them down. Then as they get caught in the stasis, it then turns into like a solar stasis tornado to start getting the damage on the slowed enemies. Is that The Boys shadow? Yeah. Like, I just was saying the other day, like, yeah, when we recorded
Greetings, Captain. I've been
the
analyzing
videos on The Boys for Wiki Weekends, I realised how little of The Boys, especially season 1 and 2, that I actually remembered anymore.
It is super weird. If I were to posit an explanation,
yeah, the fire and ice
I would say
tornadoes
that
were cool.
Nessus itself is undergoing rapid change on a molecular and geological
Just
level.
like normally I pay attention
I
to
have
this
been
stuff,
observing
but
the
like
Nessus Vex for centuries,
I'll
and their current behavior
pay back
is
attention when
utterly
I'm just
unfamiliar to me.
co-op it with Jenna, no doubt, but like
I mean,
I missed the start of this story because I was just
busy.
busy streaming and talking over it the other day, and I'm just like, yeah, whatever, cool, go kill Vex,
What I'm
got it.
saying is they're decisive, and this feels different. Like they're figuring things out. Something's happening on Nessus, and I'm not sure the Vex are behind it. And that.
Yes, I have alright. Is it just to like do a mission on Hard? And just no one does that shit.
Osiris,
But yeah, I
remember when we
gonna be doing this co-op anyway. Oh. It's really hard for me to pay attention to like lore story stuff while also talking, and I'd just be sitting here listening to things that most people are just completely unaware of what's going on. I mean, maybe you would not be out of that loop though, Red Hot. You're probably more up to date with lore than I am at that point then. 10 hours worth of Destiny. like, fucking props to Bife for doing full 10 hours video. I don't know how much of it is, like, here's the other videos I've made over the past cribbed into one. Obviously, he's still probably got all those lore scripts hanging around and knowledge of it because of the old videos and stuff, but... yeah, my name is Bife on, YouTube. Put out, like, a 10-hour video of the entire story of Destiny. And I don't know how much that is, like, delving into all of the side stories, but I imagine, knowing how good they are as a content creator, like, they've done a fucking good job, no doubt. I mean, that's just like sitting down and binging a season of TV, right? It's not actually that big a deal, like 10 hours, but just seeing one video being 10 hours long, it's that thing, isn't it, of like, oh, sitting down and saying that committing to like 3 hours of a movie is too long to watch when you're like sitting down watching something for streaming, but you'll like end up spending the entire day watching like 10 hours worth of TV. And it's like, yes, because if I'm sitting down and committing to a film, I need to commit to the film. I've got to say that I'm in the mood to dedicate the next like 3 hours. Whereas when there's no commitment involved and I can just get up at the end of any episode, that means it's like way easier to commit to the idea of it and start it. And then when you've started, it's then difficult to stop. So yeah, just seeing something that is like 10 hours in length is like, holy shit, that's so long. But then you, like, a lot of people probably have spent many occasions sitting there and watching 10 hours of like TV or YouTube. I mean, that sounds about right because a lot of Destiny lore happened before we were around. Like, obviously, you got to talk about like the findings of like the Traveler and the creation of the Hive and shit like this before we even exist. Oh, that's an interesting concept of like watching the episodes in any order. Interesting concept. I don't, no idea whether they pull it off well or not. But it's interesting. It's something that at least is like a unique thing to hear about it to get me a bit more interested than just like, yeah, there's another heist thing to stream. Just been at Failsafe. My next step in the quest is to visit Failsafe, and I'll have to try and keep it. Something that will no doubt go on my list of like a million things to watch, but inevitably ignore because I'm too busy playing games. It's why it's like, it's really easy for me to sit down and like, I mean, let's say watch. I skimmed through. I was kind of skipping bits, pieces. But I skimmed through Umbrella Academy Season 3. Just to remind myself of all that before Season 4 comes out soonish. I think that's not until like August though. Something like that maybe. July or August. And yeah, like, there were bits where I was just like, oh, it's a character feeling sad about themselves for 5 minutes. I'll just skip this bit, because it was more the actual, like, main through line of the plot that I was trying to remember. August 8th, yeah. But yeah, like, I can do that in the background while I play a game and half focus on it while I, like, grind some loot on Destiny, whereas if I'm watching something brand new, I'm not going to do that, generally. Unless it's like a sitcom. So, that's just why, you know, something like that Kaleidoscope is like that's gonna go on the list for X amount of time. And Godzilla -1, like Godzilla -1, I've heard such good things that's getting bumped up right to near the top, obviously, because like all I've heard is fantastic things about that. That was one of those of, by the time I'd heard people talking about it, it wasn't really in any cinemas around me, but I was mad that I didn't get to go see like Godzilla -1 in cinemas while it was for a short amount of time. It was basically like I heard about it and then it was already out of cinemas. It was like, oh, cool. Yeah, that's what I've heard from everyone. Every person I've heard talk about it. Yeah, hands down, best Godzilla thing ever. And like, not just a good Godzilla movie, just a great fucking movie in general. Oh no, this is not Godzilla Kong. This is Godzilla -1 that we're talking about. I heard very mixed things about King Kong and Godzilla. Oh, okay, right, yeah. Yeah, I don't not seen those movies, but like I just heard like, nah. Godzilla's got Godzilla shit going on and King Kong's got a big fucking like, you know, mechanical fist. That's about it. And just I kind of heard like, yeah, it's another one of those, which is wild to say like, oh, there's movies where Godzilla and King Kong team together to fight kaijus, and it's like, yeah, it's fine. Not much happens. It's like, how does not much bullshit happen in that kind of movie? It's like the Transformers movies where it's like, yeah, it's just kind of forgettable action. Like, it's giant Transformers. How is it forgettable? Like the one where it's fucking all of the like the battle beasts and shit turn up, or at least the T-Rex does. It's like, how is that in a forgettable Transformers film? Giant robots fighting giant robot dinosaurs. Like, what the fuck? Time to beat the shit out of the way. Fuck. Getting right in there. Yeah, like that was I don't know whether sorry. I don't know whether the Godzilla like 2014 was it movie? If that's actually the same one as the Godzilla and Godzilla Kong. But like that one where it was just half of the plot was just about the humans, if not more, well, 2/3 of it maybe. And I was just like, okay, like Bryan Cranston's great, but do we really need to spend most of our time thinking about the humans in this Godzilla movie? Well of Echoes. Yeah, I wasn't sure how much that committed to a Well of Echoes. There's the Well of Flame, the Glade of Echoes. It is part of the monster. Well of Echoes. I guess we'll go to the Glade of Echoes. And see if there's a well there. God, it's been a lot long since I've really given a shit about Nessus. I mean, that's the thing, yeah. It's Pacific Rim original, fantastic, and then just like goddamn fucking Pacific Rim Uprising just manages to make itself just a snooze fest. Like, the action is just boring. Real Steel is not a great movie, but it is great for the sake of the Rock'em Sock'em Robots action. Like, I think Real Steel as a movie is, yeah, the proper 7 out of 10, this is good. But the actual combat and the Real Steel action is, like, really cool. I put off watching that movie for years because I saw bad reviews, and then I was like, oh no, like, the action bits are all cool as fuck, what the hell? Like, it's not that bad. It's not phenomenal, but... Oh yeah, The Witness is, if I'm thinking of the right bit you're talking about, it's got, like, a puzzly aspect to it. It is, like, you will get messed up until you figure out the mechanic of it. No, not The Witness game. The Witness is, like, the final enemy in the final shape in Destiny. He's basically just like the villain of a lot of the story, but especially this expansion. He does have the power of polygons. Yeah, that Witness fight, the polygons were absolutely fucking me up in the Legendary campaign solo version. Eat some food. Like, a lot of people are thirsty for Dante, but, you know, you will not provide sustenance. You actually need to remember to have food and more. Speaking of which, anytime. Piss off. Try and hide something, okay? I always say go. Noodles are top tier in comparison to beans. Gigantify and eat. God. Uh-oh. I hope I haven't just spent actual bits on myself. I thought that was just saying use channel points for a second, and then it said bits. I can't use bits on myself, right? Don't know how this works. I'm donating money to myself, apparently. Thank you, Shad. I was like, I presume I'd just get unlimited bits in my stream as well as unlimited viewer points. Time will only tell. No, it seemed like a very silly thing to be able to, like, take money out of my own wallet to give in Twitch bits to then basically pay myself back, but then have to tax the money that I paid myself. That's some top tier losing money right there. Okay. I'm like, that's some real dumb way to just make yourself pay more money. Has to be a different source. Well, thank you for checking that. You can gift subs to yourself because obviously that that mention like basically means that you're still giving half of that money to Amazon, so of course they'll let you do that. Well, only because Twitch glitched out, right? Like, I know that you had paid for a Twitch sub, like, literally days before it was telling you that you didn't have a Twitch sub. But, I normally prefer the idea of, like, you know, if I'm gonna gift out subs, I would gift out subs on someone else's Twitch. Like on Carl's, or go into, you know, another content creator I follow or whatever. I secretly just charge it to Carl anyway. So when we work out the money for Wiki Weekends each month, it's like, I say, yeah, you know, Carl, you earn 50 quid less this month because, of course, I use that money to gift subs to you on your Twitch, right? And that's not a thing. Just don't worry about that. I am, of course, joking. But there's always one person that'll hear that and be like, can't believe he does that secretly behind everyone's backs. No. Don't do that. Yeah, we didn't want to mention it before we'd set it up. It should just be, I haven't set up a Nightbot command for it, but it is literally just patreon.com/wikiweekends. Again, subbing here is optional, the button on Patreon is optional, it's just one of those things of like, hey, we've been doing Wiki Weekends for a year, and we really enjoy doing it and want to keep doing it, but as a job, it's not exactly lucrative, and we're not even earning minimum wage. So, you know, any support would be appreciated, but it's something that, like, if we couldn't afford to be, like, doing this, wouldn't be, you know what I mean? It's like, well, like, losing money in the amount of time we're using on the channel right now, but that's like investing in yourself, and we're not sitting here like Carl's literally buying a house, you know what I mean? It's not as if like we're sitting here going like, oh, we're not earning minimum wage on this channel, but also we've got, you know, no money to pay our bills. It's not that. It's obviously at some point we would like our job to pay us an actual reasonable amount of money for doing it. But again, it's one of those classic things of like, same with when Carl made Fatfeed in the first place. It's like, you want to try stuff like this, at some point you've kind of got to invest in yourself and hope that it works out. And sometimes those projects do work out and sometimes they don't, but if you're not willing to take a chance on yourself, then who else would be? Yeah, it's very nice knowing got people that are willing to help us support doing dumb shit. Always, like, it's super appreciated but never expected. Nice to know that there's people enjoying it and wanting to help support the stuff that we make, because that's ultimately the best part of doing what we do, is the fact that, like, getting to know that we make content that people enjoy and that we enjoy making. Which videos are unwatchable? I'm a bit confused. would be, but I can always like mention to Carl or whatever, like getting those and having them available on like the Raw. Again, I don't know what stuff is on there. At least in terms of like the videos that would specifically only be able to be watched that way.
Attention! A fallen mining expedition is on its way. May I suggest discouraging them?
I mean, it's one of those of like, I'm sure it's probably something that we could, if they're all just like untitled side channel videos that are unlisted, we could probably just make like a playlist and you can watch unlisted videos on playlists anyway, because they'll have been uploaded and hosted on YouTube, so they'll be just unlisted on YouTube.
That's one fancy
So there's no reason why just the unlisted longer versions couldn't just get put up on a YouTube playlist and not necessarily made public, but just, you know, if you go and visit the channel and click like the longer videos playlist, then you can watch them. Yeah, I just don't have the energy to like motivate myself to edit that at the moment, but I'll get around to it one day. Yeah, because we made that mistake one time of like
They're heading for another site.
putting up like an unlisted video that was meant to go live a few days later or a week later or something, but putting it in a playlist, and then like someone commented on that video like, oh hey, I don't think this is meant to be live yet or something. I was like, yeah, it's not meant to be live until like next week, and then discovering, oh yeah, if it's unlisted, I think it might have been like to show like a sponsor, that like to get a sponsor to approve it or something. So rather than listed as scheduled, it was just listed as unlisted, and I'd just put it into the playlist that it was meant to be in when it came out, and like figured out, oh yeah, you can see this video early if you're just playing to the end of the playlist and it goes to the new video. Sounds about. It's like the irony of like, you know, the one video where we had a lot of problems with the Carl's mic being bad towards the beginning of the podcast, which is the one where, unbeknownst, Carl started asking me like, hey, so, oh, the Well of Echoes, yeah, I now see the name. Like, hey, what's like the worst you've ever heard a podcast sound? As not realizing on the live stream version, his podcast is audio sounded awful. And it's like, it just so happened to be the one time Carl brought up bad audio that his audio was bad at the time. Just sod's law. There's been a couple of times, like, you know, the last podcast where it's like, I was a bit quiet compared to Carl, but it wasn't anything significantly awful like it was on that podcast. And that was the one time he opened up the podcast being like, so what's the worst it's ever sounded? On like someone else's podcast. The good old. The Ben's on toe. One very nice gimmick. Not really appreciated up until right now is the fact that, yeah, you can set it to go onto like that grinding mode while you like just set off grinding your rail in a certain direction. You can actually open the map. You can't really do that on a Sparrow. Oh, the Euros are starting tomorrow. Okay. Yeah, I saw them, like, people talking about it in my family chat and was like, oh, when does that begin? I knew it was soon, but I only really bother with, like, keeping up to date with Liverpool. I don't watch international football. Like my life. Holy shit. Pain. Pain. Oh dear. Okay. Oh shit. Yeah, that's it. Blow the enemy. Fair. Yeah, that'll do it for you. Like, I've kind of like been up and down on keeping up to date with football over my life, but I've always kept like one eye on it at very least. But yeah, I have it. It makes it a lot easier for sure when like Liverpool have actually been good over the past few years. It's a lot more incentivizing to keep up with the matches when they're actually doing okay. And like, obviously they've never in my life have they been bad, but they were certainly a lot, you know, a lot more middling over the years when compared to the last. It's a very upsetting time to be a Liverpool fan right now when it's like, oh shit, like what's going on now that Klopp's gone? And it's like, you know, things might stay good. You can have hope, but it's certainly certainly a rough spot to be in when like things have gone so well. Well, you know, obviously not even like we've won that many cups or anything, but we've been competitive at very least for a multitude of years, which it feels weird for me. Yeah, that's the thing, right? Is like, I'm definitely not doom and gloom of like, oh no, they're never going to be good anymore now that Klopp's gone, but it's also just like, well, you know, nothing's ever certain with things changing. Do not know. Ah, okay. I just thought I was jumping into a complete black void that was going to kill me. Find and complete the Enigma Protocol. What are you doing? Or Cap 2005. Grading my power is recommended. Let's see how fucked we get then, shall we? I'm currently 34 below power. Grand Surge and Solar Surge. Radial area. Go. Oh, right. Yep. This may be rough. This may be very rough. Oh. Oh, yeah. Oh. Oh, combatant power 2020. I am like 50 below power. Hey, but someone's got CTV in the name. They'll get me through, right? They're a Twitch streamer. The logic right now. Like, it's fine. I'm clearly being carried by a Twitch streamer, right? He says playing on. Holy shit. Fuck. This, see if they're even reasonable power levels. Very sorry if you are. 1981 and 1984. It's gonna be rough. Fine. We're all only like 40 to 50 power under. Gonna be okay. Oh no. Okay, no, I thought one of them left. All of us are going into this way earlier than we should. We should have powered up, but oh well. Gonna be fine. See if I've... liking that. Let me back. Oh my god, where am I falling to? Okay, we finally died. Fuck me. Yeah, no worries, Jack. Thank you for joining, as always. Good to see you, last fucking just, you know, pray for me. Just my, my current situation. I don't think that things are going to go well, but we can figure it out. Yeah, the witness does not mess about. It was certainly a revelation going from playing it 2-player to solo. I mean, like, oh yeah, that witness, he just messes you up pretty quick, right? I guess, like, the witness is a very literal, like, they, them, of, like, they are a entire, like, population of people within one entity. They are a very literal they, them. When people are arguing, like, well, one person can't be a they, them, it's like, it's not one person, it's many people. Yeah, the subjugators are the problem, really, but, like, the issue is that you stay so focused on the subjugators that the witness just teleports behind you and is like, surprise, bitch. That's the real problem. I will say, as a hint, phase 2, you can stay in the sides. Can't get away with it with first subjugator. But in phase 2 of the fight, you can hide inside the walls. Which, to anyone that doesn't know what that means, won't make much sense, but I'm sure that'll mean something to you, right? Like, they will not go inside those, like, side bits, even if there's, like, no barrier there or anything. Yeah. Certainly helped me out. Got the combination blow roll and a not bad with battle. Not great. Pick up unstable unit. Come on, there we go. Oh, you. Come on, keep the combination blow going. Yes, okay. Got in the way. Hello? Let me in. Oh shit. Okay, break back down. Hello? Okay. That encounter, not too bad. Mostly stayed alive. Need to get that ball rolling on combination blow. Okay. Oh my god, this skimmer just like trivializes. Oh well. Me trying to be a fancy bellend, as always, fucks it up. But I'm the problem, not the vehicle. I can't just go over this entire thing, can I? Yeah, no worries, go and enjoy some light. Holy shit. I can just ignore that. Or I've just put myself back to a different section. Are we going backward? Going back? Oh, I've gone backwards anyway. Good thing that someone knew. You just all reached the end. Remember these rooms from like one of the seasons on? All of a sudden, just my room went full of enemies with no assistance. God. All the power and all. Holy shit. Ah! Get one combination blow going first. Oh shit. You already clicked. Far. God, I am not used to being this squishy right now. Data here. Just fucking the moment I manage a punch, it's like I shot its head off, so it just exploded on me. Archival time. Oh shit. I hope this is the only room we've got to clear because we're running low on time. Really? At least Silence and Squall stays up as a super. Oh shit. Final minute. Heavy for now. Dying every time, try and get the punches. It's not time to try and change the build. Okay. Got 20 seconds to do whatever the fuck we need to do. Come on. Someone shoot that thing. There we go. Wait, what? It said plus 30 seconds. Didn't give us the extra 30 seconds. Oh shit. What? We're back in the app. Okay. I mean, these two are trying again. Got unlocked. None of my builds are very built at the moment. I'm gonna leave this. One of the people has left. I am nowhere near strong enough. Oh. Right. I think that's probably a good place for me to just leave it there, as I'm a bit tired tonight. And yeah, just getting my ass kicked. Oof. But yeah, we'll be back on Monday for some Mass Effect 3, and then I'll probably just be like, if there's any reason to get back into Destiny 2 next week, I'll kind of see what's going on. May or may not make like a bonus stream, but I will get back to doing like some Tunic Tuesdays and Thunderbat Thursdays. Like, if I do want to do like an extra Destiny stream and have the motivation for it, I will. But more than likely just go back to regular schedule. Just keep an eye out and see if there's anything super exciting to stream on Destiny. Yeah, I just wanted this week to be able to, like, as I say, get focused into Destiny a little bit more, do a little bit more grinding, as Destiny's mainly the only thing I want to play at the moment, the first couple of weeks. Thank you all for joining, and I hope everyone has a lovely day, evening. You all.